Oh my god, guys, it's happened again. My bank is 100% empty. Don't look over there. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to rebuild using only RuneScape's weirdest moneymakers. Anything that's meta or commonly used is not allowed. We're just going to go for just the wackiest, jankiest methods, but ones that are actually decently profitable, but hardly anyone knows about. Okay, here we are. We're starting in our Doin with absolutely nothing in the inventory, nothing in our bank. And we're going to start off with a method that I actually have done before, like 10 years ago or something. That would be picking up the black scimitar spawn in the West Ardoin Palace. I was looking at some items on GE Tracker and I noticed that the black scimitar was going for over 2k each, which means that's really easy money. We don't need any money requirements, we can just literally pick it up off the ground. I don't know why this item has any value, but this is one of the few places you can actually get it in the entire game, so I guess that's why. So we're gonna pick one up, hop worlds, pick another one up, hop worlds, and pretty much just repeat that until we have, a little bit of starter money. Oh my god, that's a lot of scimitars. 252 black scimitars. That took me about an hour to collect them all. And now we're gonna walk back to the Grand Exchange and see what we can sell them for. Okay, so we just insta-sold them for 500k. That's actually a really good method, 500k per hour for something that has almost no requirements. Okay, I got a really interesting idea here. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try to anyway. I'm gonna try and make bottled dragon breath. Essentially what this item is it will charge your dragonfire shield for you. You don't have to go find a dragon or anything. They go for somewhere between 10,000 and 12,000 each, but you could buy the prerequisite ingredients for only 9,000 in theory. Just kind of a wacky idea I had. I had no clue if it's gonna work. So to make these, we have to add 10 dragon fruit to a vial, which is pretty easy. We'll just go through these quickly. And from there we have to go to Karambwan and use them on this kind of lava vent to actually charge them. Otherwise they will take 5 years to sell and we don't want that. Oh my god, what? I'm taking so much damage though, what? Okay, well, we'll have to look into that. So we made the 50 and from here we can sell them back for hopefully 12,000 each. To be honest though, I think we're gonna need a bit more money to be able to do this realistically. I only had enough cash to do that for like 3 minutes, so maybe we'll go move on to something else. Okay, so we were only able to sell them for 10,000, which means that's not really worth our time. We got like 40k profit, but whatever. Okay, once we get back through this damn door, we're gonna do another hour of the scimitar method, just to build up to a nice 1 mil cash stack, and then we'll probably move on from there. Alright, another day and another 251 black scimitars. Now I'm really curious, are they going to insta-sell again? Kind of. Most of them anyway. Okay, so we're moving on to a different method here. To do this, we're gonna actually pick up a pair of Fremnik sea boots. Not really required, it's just an easy way to get to Fremnik. So what are we gonna be doing? Well, we're gonna be buying these kegs of beer. They cost 325 from the shop, but you can sell them for almost 1,000 on the Grand Exchange. Not really sure why, to be honest, but the method is listed at about 800k per hour, which is a bit better than the scimitar method. Now luckily there is a deposit box here, so you don't have to run all the way back to a bank. So we're just gonna run back and forth between the deposit box and the beer salesperson until we're just pretty much entirely the money. Well, that took a bit longer than I hoped, but we're done. All our gold has been converted to beer, like some sort of drunk alchemist. So how many kegs of beer do we end up with? Well, nearly 2,500. Now we price checked one, and they're not going for as much as I hoped. If we're more patient, we might be able to sell them for more. We're gonna drop it in here for about 730, which is about a 1.8 mil sale, and we're gonna be somewhat patient. Okay, now while I'm waiting, I'm gonna try out a totally random method, something I just thought of myself. I'm gonna go ahead and try to create Karambwan vessels. Now I was very confused for a long time because there's 2 Karambwan vessels on the Grand Exchange, one that is loaded and one that's unloaded. Now to load it, you simply have to put 1 Karambwanji in it, but by doing so it sells for like 1,000 more. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to buy the Karambwan vessels, the empty versions, and then we're gonna fill them with 1 fish and sell them on the Grand Exchange for absolutely massive profit. There's literally no way this doesn't work. So we're gonna trade this person Tiadesh, and we're gonna buy 2 Karambwan vessels per world and hop around. Now we brought the trading sticks because when our inventory is full, you're actually able to bank them with the parcel service, and this is way quicker than teleporting back, going to a bank, and this is really not that expensive. So all we have to do is add 1 Karambwan to it. It'll automatically do our inventory, which is nice. And these should sell for 2.6k each. We need more of these fish though. Okay, new strategy. As soon as my inventory is full, I'm gonna start adding the fish as we run to the banker. Save us a few seconds each time. Okay, we had a couple extra in the bank, but after doing this for around an hour, we ended up with 425 Karambwan vessels, which it looks like we can sell for about 1.2 mil. So 1.2 mil an hour method, really weird, but we'll have to see if these actually sell first before I celebrate it. But theoretically, it should work. So we're still waiting for some things to sell off. Most of the kegs of beer have almost sold, but you know, we might as well just wait till they're all done. So while we're waiting, we're gonna move on to another method, one of my personal favorite, really strange methods. But for it, we're gonna need a little bit of combat gear, nothing too crazy. We're just gonna get like a dragon scimitar, an amulet of glory, combat bracelet, stuff like that. You don't need much, but this will help out. So what are we gonna be doing with it? Well, we're gonna be killing Oomlies in the Khazari jungle and creating Oomlie wraps. Oomlie wraps on the Grand Exchange sell for about 10k each, if not more, and they're pretty easy to get. To get an Oomlie wrap, you simply go into the jungle, kill an Oomlie bird, only has 40 HP. Now you could sell the meat for 3,000 or 4,000 each, but why would you do that when you can just simply go ahead and shake this palm tree, get the leaf, and put them together, and all of a sudden that's a 10k item. Well, it says 9k, but I think it'll go for more. And that's pretty much all we're gonna do. We're gonna slay the Oomlie bird, smash the tree, put the things together, repeat it until we have a full inventory. Each full inventory will be worth nearly 300k, which should make this a really good hourly rate. So there we go, there's our first full inventory. Price checking it, we can see it's worth about 270k. Now why are these worth so much? Well, pretty much entirely because of collectors that either collect the wraps directly, the Oomlie wraps, or collect burnt Oomlie wraps, which are incredibly rare. And a single burnt Oomlie wrap goes for 3 mil each, which means we could theoretically try to make these in a minute. The burnt Oomlie wrap is worth so much because it's really hard to obtain. The only way to do it is through a very specific method that wasn't even publicly available until last summer. But even with the knowledge being out, it's still a very arduous process and requires a lot of wrapped Oomlies, which, you know, as I mentioned, are worth 10,000 each. So let's go ahead and collect a bunch of these wraps and we'll see what we want to do with them. Okay, so this took me about an hour and 20 minutes or something, but we're able to collect around 200 wrapped Oomlies, and that's worth 2.1 mil just on their own. It's quite a process to get these, and you theoretically could buy these on the Grand Exchange, but their buying limit is very low. Only 15 every 4 hours, so that's not going to help too much. I'm going to keep collecting these though while I ponder what I want to do with them. So that's another hour down the drain of collecting these wrapped Oomlies. In the bank right now we have pretty much 400 of them. So with the 400 wrapped Oomlies we have two options. We can either sell them right to the Grand Exchange, we'd get a roughly around 4 mil just right then and there. The harder option but potentially more profitable one is I use the weird method and try to burn them. And if we get at least 2 burnt Oomlies from these 400, we'll make a profit. If I only manage to burn one of them, that's only 3 mil, which means we will have lost money and time. So it's a little bit of a risk if RNG fails us, but I kind of want to go for it. Now the reason the burnt Oomlie wrap is so rare is at level 50 cooking, which is the minimum level to cook it, you never burn it. Which means if you have the level to successfully cook it, you can never fail. And that's why until recently it was essentially an unobtainable item. But some people figured out if you go to Trollheim and let your stats get drained, if you time it perfectly, it's actually theoretically possible to burn the Oomlie here, but it's still quite challenging. So here's the setup. We're at 1 HP, that's very important. If you're above 1 HP, you'll get interrupted by taking a single point of damage every, I think, 4 ticks or something. We have a full inventory of wrapped Oomlies and items to light a fire. So when your hit points drop to exactly 50, you need to light a fire, quickly flick rapid heal to reset your health regen, and then use a Oomlie in the fire quickly and start cooking them. So right now we're 50 cooking, but after a few seconds we drop to 49, and we'll keep dropping and dropping. Now the first level that you can theoretically burn an Oomlie at is 43, so we have to drop quite a few levels. So the first 3/4 roughly of my inventory, there's a 0% chance of burning, but as we get down to the final 8, we have between a 1 and 3% chance of burning them, depending on how far our cooking level has drained. Yes, it's a weird method, it's complicated, but every time we burn one, that's 3 mil to the bank. Now after every run, we have to teleport out, we have to restore our stats by drinking a super restore, and then we have to go all the way back. It's a bit tedious. Alright, try number 2, no luck. We still have a lot of Oomlies though, so we're gonna go through all of them. Hopefully we can get lucky. Okay, so this can happen too. Your fire goes out randomly, that's so annoying. It's only lit between like 60 seconds and 90 seconds or something, which means it's actually possible for it to go out before you're done your inventory, which is really annoying. Oh my god, I was checking my stats and we actually got one. Look at that. Oh, what the fuck is going on with my fires? That's like the 3rd time that's happened. Doesn't matter though, we got a burnt Oomlie from our, I think, 5th inventory. That's exciting. That means we just added 3 mil to our bank, theoretically, once we sell it off. And we've already used up 150 Oomlie wraps. Now, from my calculation, assuming I don't mess this up, which I have been, so I should hopefully get 3. 3 burnt Oomlies from 400 wrapped is about what you could expect. I've calculated about every single run is about a 20% chance of getting one. So every 5 runs we should get a burnt Oomlie, but we'll see how that actually plays out. Yes, there's the second one on the second to last Oomlie as well. I was getting a little worried there, but at least with this second one, we now have made some money. We're now 2 mil up, which means this is now not a waste of time, at least. Alright, this is our final inventory. If we don't get another one here, then we will have made 2 mil from this, which isn't terrible. This took me about 3 hours to figure out, get all set up again. Oh my god, on the very last one, literally our 400th Oomlie, we got it just at the very, oh, yes. Okay, that just made this so much more worth it. That brought our GP per hour from like 750k up to like 2 mil an hour. Alright, so we found somebody to buy our wares in the Burnt Collecting Discord. I've mentioned them a couple times. There will be a link in the description for the Discord. This person here is willing to buy them for 3 mil each. So just like that, we now have a 9 mil bank, if not a bit more. Oh, hold up, I forgot we have some money in the bank, 1.2 mil, which means we're actually at a green cash stack already. And if we check our Grand Exchange, we got a couple kegs of beer selling still. These Karambwan vessels are taking an eternity, but they are selling slowly. So we're actually at closer to like a 11 or 12 mil cash stack. Okay, so with that green cash stack, we're going to invest it into actually more wrapped Oomlies. I'm going to buy them directly from the Grand Exchange on top of harvesting some myself. Like I mentioned though, the buying limit is very low, which means we're not going to get a ton of these per hour, but I'm going to put the offer in for like 300 and hopefully we'll buy a few of these over the coming days, which will help add to our stack, which I'm going to probably just try to burn more of them. Now that said, while we're waiting, I'm going to try a very weird money-making method, and that's going to be making toad crunchies. Toad crunchies is a gnome food item, but they actually sell for like 6,000 or 7,000 each, which sounds amazing for any food item, but to be honest, these are really annoying to make. It requires, I think, 4 separate ingredients, and you have to go through quite a few weird interfaces, which makes this a very time-consuming method, but that's why they sell for so much. Okay, so this is quite the process. First, you have to fill up these gnome trays with the Jian dough. From there, you're gonna cook them a single time. Afterwards, we have to withdraw toad legs and gnome spice, and we have to go through this really annoying interface, clicking one at a time to turn them into like uncooked crunchies. From there, we cook them again, and then we add equa leaves to them. So it's quite a process. I'm only gonna do this for maybe an hour because I don't think these things will sell very quickly anyway, but I'm gonna try to make 400 of them, which is gonna be annoying. Okay, we finished up with 150. We're gonna check these in the sell right now. After price checking it, looks like we can sell them for about 5,500. Not bad for such a weird item. And now I guess we'll go back and finish the other like 200. Okay, we're finally done. Not many of them sold off, but that's okay. We finished up all 300 toad crunchies, which looks like combined are gonna sell for about 1.5 mil, which means this method, like 1.3 mil an hour for something that has almost no requirements and is so weird. Not bad, although we do have to see if these will actually sell, but I'm pretty optimistic. Okay, well there we go, we actually sold them all for 5,000, which is fine. 1.5 mil back from that. A really solid method if you're okay going through some interfaces from like 2003. So for the last couple of days, I've been slowly stacking up wrapped Oomlies, both from buying them from the Grand Exchange and collecting them manually. And if you look in the bank, we have about 560 wrapped Oomlies, which is a ton, and I'm gonna try to burn all of these. We've been collecting them for a while, but I think it's time to give it a try. I have no idea how many burnt Oomlies we could expect, but I'm hoping we get at least 4 or 5, and then at least my time will probably be worth it, because it's gonna take a couple hours to burn all these, even if we don't get lucky. Oh, look at that. We even got one in the final inventory. We definitely got really lucky with this. Not only did we get 2 burns in a single inventory, which is really rare, I was also able to get 8 burnt Oomlie wraps in total, which is more than you would expect. 8 burnt Oomlie wraps means we should be able to get somewhere between 20 and 24 mil for selling these bad boys off, which is really, really good. Oh, look at them. They look so beautiful. Okay, so we did find a buyer, actually the same one. He's currently buying them for 2.5 mil, which means that's still 20 mil from all 8 of them. So we turned about 6 or 7 mil worth of Oomlie wraps into 20 mil with just a couple hours invested. Yes, we got definitely really lucky, but burning Oomlie wraps is still a very profitable method if you know how to do it correctly and are able to get large quantities of the wraps. But so with all those sold off for 20 mil, that has brought our bank up to 30 mil already, which means we've already rebuilt our bank a significant amount. Okay, so now that we have a bit more money, I have a couple methods I want to try here. One is the crystal key method where we open the crystal chest. We're currently just waiting to buy the keys, but in the meantime, I want to retry the bottled dragon breath method. So I was able to buy 5,000 dragon fruits instantly, and as I already mentioned, we gotta add these to vials 10 at a time, and then we have to imbue them, for lack of a better word, in Karambwan. Okay, so this is a bit of a process, but we gotta do 5,000 of these, 2 per inventory, so that's gonna take a while. Oh my god, we're finally done! There is 500 uncharged bottled dragon breath. Now we just have to charge it, which is probably gonna be equally annoying. Now I did figure out that if you wear ice gloves, you don't take any damage from this, which is really good because I would die instantly otherwise. Okay, that's the final inventory. There is 500 bottled dragon breath. That took a bit over an hour actually, but if we sell it off, we can sell them for about 13,000 each right now, which is really good. All in total, we're selling them for 6.5 mil, and we bought the ingredients for 5 mil, which means right now we're looking at like a 1.2 mil per hour moneymaker that has almost no requirements. So it's gonna definitely take a while for the bottled dragon breath to sell off, but in the meantime, our crystal keys have bought 420 of them. So let's go open the crystal chest, which should be enough to do it for an hour straight. And yeah, the method is very simple. You teleport to your house or to Taverley, run down here with about half an inventory of keys, manually open up the chest, teleport back to a bank, and repeat. We're just gonna have to do this 420 times. Okay, we're done with the hour. Not my favorite method. I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. Plus, I don't think we actually made that much money. The keys cost 8.5 mil, so maybe we made like 700 or 800k per hour, but I don't think this method is worth it. Very click intensive, but we'll sell everything off and see how much we actually end up with. 9.1 mil, so yeah, we hardly made 500k. That's it, not doing that one again. So although the crystal chest didn't work out, I have another interesting idea. Opening the Grubby chest. The money per hour here actually looks to be a lot better, although once again there's going to be quite a bit of clicking. Now each time you open up the Grubby chest, you get on average about 42,000 gold worth of loot, and the keys only cost 31,000, which means wow, you're making so much money each time. But that's not entirely true because a fair bit of the value from the drops actually comes from the resource items like sharks, egg potatoes, Ceradome and brews, super restores, stuff like that, which you can't realistically pick up all of it or else opening the keys will take an eternity. So the method I'm using actually has you leave a lot of items on the ground, primarily sharks and egg potatoes and some of the potions. But this allows you to take a half inventory of grubby keys, which makes it so you can open way more per hour. And although we may only be getting like 8,000 profit per key now, we can open up like 3 times more than just doing like a couple keys per inventory. So overall, the money per hour is going to be better, even if the profit per key is less. Oh my god, first inventory, we get 600k in loot. So good, the keys only cost me like 400k. Okay, so there we go, we opened up all 500 grubby keys, and we ended up with 20.6 mil in loot, in theory, although we didn't pick all of that up. Oh my god, I thought these were egg sacs that you can open up. Okay, these are just recolors, we have so many of them now. Okay, so the actual loot we ended up picking up is 18.5 mil, so significantly less, but how much did the keys cost me? Well, let's sell off all the stuff first and then we'll have a look. So after selling everything off, we actually ended up with 18.4 mil, all the potions, all the actual loot, all the food. And how much did the keys cost us? 15.4, which means we actually made almost 3 mil per hour opening the grubby chest, which is absolutely amazing. This has very, very low requirements, only like 57 thieving to open the chest. So yeah, we're definitely gonna do that again. So because of how successful the first batch of grubby keys were, I decided to go buy another 1,000 of them. Now they don't buy and sell that quickly, but over the last day I was able to get about 500 more. So I think I'll get started opening more of the grubby chest while I buy the rest of these. But overall, I'm gonna do another 1,000. Okay, there we go. A couple hours later, all our grubby keys have come through. I've only opened 200 of them so far though, so we have 800 more to go, which will probably take me about 2 hours. Okay, we are finally about done with this method. I don't even want to think about how many valuable supplies were just left in the ground, but it's just better off this way. Normally try to pick up a few valuable potions off the ground if they're there, like brews or restores, but you know, you just do your best. Okay, so now we just have to go ahead and withdraw all the loot from the bank to figure out how consistent this method is. Are we gonna make another 3 mil per hour, or is that just luck? Okay, I think we have everything. There's a, Jesus. So our loot tracker was showing about 41 mil, but of the actual loot we picked up, we ended up with 35.8. And of course, we still have to sell everything off to see if it actually is going for that price. So we'll go ahead and dump it all first and then calculate our profit. Okay, so we ended up with 35.4 mil after everything was said and done. And the keys cost us 30.5, which means we profited 5 mil. A little bit less than last time, but I think if we were a little bit more patient and a little bit more precise with the items we picked up off the ground, we could have made a little bit more profit. But overall, 5 mil in profit in 2 hours, still pretty happy with that. So that's brought our cash stack up to nearly 40 mil, which is going to bring us to, I think, our most expensive method of the video. Something that you shouldn't even bother really doing unless you have 25 mil or more of a cash stack. And that's going to be buying from, I think, Runescape's most profitable shop. Now in Keldegrim, there's something called this Stonemason shop. This dwarf sells construction supplies for high-level houses. We're primarily looking for gold leaves and potentially marble blocks. You can buy a gold leaf for 130k, but on the Grand Exchange, they routinely go for 137, which means a 7k profit per world hop. Plus, some marble blocks can make you like 4 or 5k per world hop as well. The one thing you have to be very careful about though is you only buy 1 per world. If you accidentally hit the buy 50, you're going to be having a bad time. So we're going to have to be a bit mindful of that. But beyond that, this should be a very profitable method and one that has almost no requirements besides money. So for now, the gold leaves were the only thing that was really that profitable. So after taxes, we're selling them for about a 6k profit, which means from a single inventory, we're going to make about 162k. Very, very good money. Okay, so they sold off pretty quickly. We're able to get 2 more inventories in the time it took for our original one to sell. Okay, so I've decided I'm also going to start picking up marble blocks. There's not really a reason not to. They're not quite as profitable as the leaves, but it adds on almost 0 extra time for, you know, 3,000 or 4,000 extra in profit per world hop. No reason not to, except for the fact that we're going to burn through our cash pretty quickly. So we're going to be selling the marble blocks for around a 3,000 or 4,000 GP profit. Not amazing, but it's pretty much just free money. Okay, so we got a big offer sold off for both of them, bringing our cash stack up to 40.7 mil. We've already made $1 million profit with this method in only about half an hour. Okay, so I was able to stack up a lot of the leaves yesterday. Unfortunately, we weren't able to sell them for the maximum profit, but we're able to sell them still for 135k, but we got 200 of them, which on its own is a profit of 750k just on the leaves, plus a bit from the marble blocks as well. Okay, so I just logged in today and I was looking at GE Tracker. The items have spiked in price quite a lot. Marble blocks are going for 10,000 GP more, 339, and the leaves are going for 137. So that's crazy. Each marble block is worth about a 10k profit right now. So we gotta go buy those quickly. There's another 27, which if they sell is just 270k profit, just like that. Okay, so we got another 54 marble blocks sold for, well, 540k profit, plus we got more in our inventory. We're also getting around 6k in profit on the gold leaves as well, so that's nothing to scoff at. Overall, around $1 million profit from this sell offer. So yeah, we're gonna just keep abusing this pretty much as long as we can. So in my head, I kind of had a loose goal of trying to get 50 mil back as a rebuild, and we've finally done it. From the Stonemason shop, in about 3 hours of work, I was able to build up another 10 mil in cash, bringing their cash stack up to 50.3 mil, which I think is a rebuilt bank. There's so much you can do with 50 mil. You can make a crazy alt account, you can buy back a ton of important gear, and we're able to do this with really just unorthodox methods, stuff that hardly anyone does. There's so much opportunity out there as long as you can think a bit outside the box. And this is definitely my favorite way to rebuild a bank. Instead of toiling away with some really scuffed boss setup, instead I'll just kind of do random money makers. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now, before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to Alejandra, Mitch Reinders, The Hybrid, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier. You guys are awesome. I do really appreciate it. Also, thank you to Kapersky, YoYoSub89, and NDM0001 for being subscribed at the Runite tier. Thanks to everyone again, and I'll see you next time.